Welcome to Church Talks podcast. It is a pleasure to have you with us. Today, I have the incredible honor, the incredible privilege to have with me in the stage, in the studio, my good friend, Jonathan Rumi from The Chosen. Right. Now, this is Steve Gray from Burleigh Church of Christ and Griffith University. The point of our podcast is to give a voice to every pastor around the Gold Coast. And we'd love for you to hear it, maybe hear the story of their churches, what they're doing, and mainly focus around the idea of unity. I know this is easier said than done, but that's the idea. So we're going to have a great conversation. It is good to have you here today, Steve. Thanks for coming.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, tell them what you know. Cause I asked you, how do I introduce you? And you're like, this, and that, let's stop you. So tell them, who are you and what you do, and let's start there.
So firstly, look, I did miss the Chosen auditions, but I hear they're going to do acts. So if you're looking for sort of it's with my sort of look.
Yeah, let's try the version.
I'm happy to do acts. I'll play anyone. That'd be fun. So, but no, more seriously, I'm involved in a couple of things and exiting a few things. I'm in a little bit of a transition stage of my life. But basically, I've been a pastor in Burleigh Heads on the Gold Coast, Burleigh Heads Church of Christ, for the last nearly decade. And then alongside of that, I also do some university chaplaincy as well.
Cool.
And so I'm transitioning into some kind of maybe broader leadership stuff around Queensland, but still, church ministry, and it's still
with
the same
Church
thing.
of Christ?
Yeah, Church of Christ is a denomination, and we're going to do some stuff alongside them and maybe walk alongside some of our churches in our movement, and really any church that would like to walk alongside us.
Cool.
Yeah.
You excited about that?
I am. I am. It's hard. Look, it's hard leaving it. We're planning not to leave the church. We'll see how that plays out for the next guy. If they want us around, ex-ministers can be annoying, can be painful, can be great.
Who wouldn't want to you around, my brother?
I agree. No. I think that, but all the books say, like a lot of literature says, you just got to be careful with it. And so we'll navigate that slowly. But my kids love the church. My oldest is going to go into youth group next year, and she's so dirty on me if we leave. She's like, Dad, I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, it's tough.
I want to get into youth group. So we'll probably stay. But yeah, I'm excited. Just in that weird.
Yeah.
It's like, it is. It's fathering a family. Church is my family. And so while it's not my family, God has given us a chance to be stewarding that. And so I just want to make sure the next dad and mum essentially understand the culture.
That's awesome.
And are going to love them. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, before we started, Steve, I was talking to the boys. You're very well known. Like, a lot of people know you. You know a lot of people. You've been here for a while. You're born and raised in the Gold Coast and all of that.
Sure.
But there might be someone on the other side who doesn't know you, doesn't know who you are. So let's backtrack a little bit before church. Like, how did you end up in ministry? Did you grow up in a Christian home? What's your brief story until you ended up pastoring the church?
That's a question. I'll try to be brief. So grew up Christian family, grew up on the Gold Coast. But long story short, and I'm a big, is sort of two things that I feel like God has given me, two sort of messages, and most of my sermons you'll find around this somehow. It's becoming and participating.
Participating.
Okay. A big question I ask people is, I believe we're all becoming something. We're all a disciple of something, but the question is, who are we a disciple of? And so Christians choose Jesus. The world chooses whatever they want, but they make no mistake, we're becoming something.
Yeah.
And so that mirrors my kind of first part of my life. I can remember the first concert I went to, and I saw this guy play guitar.
Concert?
Yeah, concert in teenage years, and I went, that's who I want to be.
Okay, what was the concert?
Can't remember. I think it was actually a Christian concert.
Okay.
Might have been a band called Anti-Skeptic back in the day.
Okay.
But anyway, I went, that's who I need to be. And so little did I know, probably from my early teen years, for about a decade, my habits, my identity was resting in this idea. And so that actually led me out of church. And so long story short, I found myself touring in a band in Canada, and at the other side of the world, completely lost, completely essentially on my knees going, this is not, I pursued something else and I go, this is not the path. This is not who we should be. And I felt this overwhelming, people talk about meeting God and it's like a warm hug. No. This was like a person that should know better because I'd grown up in the church. I'd known his love and I had this overwhelming, you foolish kid. Like, yeah. And I just was on my knees and I went, after a year of living in Canada and trying to be a rock star, so you name it, tempted. God protect me from a heap, but there was a lot of womanizing, drugs, drinking, a lot stopped. And I look back now and go, God, you saved me from a lot of things. But there was still me having a crack at trying to be that rock star. And so I found myself on my knees and I then listened to the latest sermon from my home church and it was, didn't know this, on Jonah, about a guy running away.
Wow.
Well, okay, God, what are you saying? Then listen to a preacher in Melbourne by the name of Mark Sayers.
Mark Sayers,
a couple of
shout out to Mark.
Yeah. So, and I'd always liked him, I liked his preaching, and then I didn't mean to do this. His message, Jonah, and I went, all right, God, what are you saying? And so I said, I quit the band. Month later, flew home. Not to be a pastor, no way.
Yeah. Okay.
Just and then had a long-term on and off girlfriend that I treated absolutely horribly that first part because I was a rock star and all, and came back within 3 months. We're engaged. Heap of apologies. Said, would you take me back? Surprised she didn't get married, Christian world, right? So I was lucky she didn't already get married. I came back and we've been married since.
Come on.
And so she was heavy in the church. She was doing an internship. She was great. And so she dragged me along to.
So she saw the dirty, ugly part of your life and then like, okay.
Well and truly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well and truly. And
that's a hero.
So yeah, she absolutely
What's
is.
your wife's name?
Maren. So Erin with an
Shout out to
M.
Maren.
Yeah, absolutely. And so lots of prayer went in, I'm sure, from her. She married at the time a guy that had a film degree, was a wannabe rock star, working in a call center at that time. Not anything wrong with the call center work, but it was like she still married me.
2 different worlds.
Yeah, 2 different worlds. And so she dragged me along to help out with youth group at our original church. And I did want to get back in line with God. And so, again, long story short, a minister there that we were becoming better friends with, who was a young adults pastor and youth pastor, he left. He goes, we're going to go to Cairns and plant a church. So I left well. And I was studying teaching at the time. And so I was going to be a film teacher. So I was teaching that and I said, I'll help out. I said, I can run an event. I don't really have any solid work at the moment. Can I just help? And I remember the conversation with the senior pastor at the time, who had been my old youth pastor.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, you don't want to be a pastor, do you? And I'm like, and so he was worried. And I'm like, no way. And he says, good.
Good. He's going to be a pastor.
He's like, good. No, I don't want you as a pastor either, but you can help out.
Yeah.
6 months later, I'm like, I think this is what I was called to do. Luckily, they agreed. And I went on as a young adults coordinator, then became a young adults pastor. And then somehow in the last 14 years, I now then took on a church down in Burleigh and pastored that for the last 9. And so,
wow.
Yeah, I still
all in the same denomination.
All same denomination.
Wow, that's noble.
Yeah, so I do like what Church of Christ stands for because it's Jesus. So I'm a fan of any denomination that speaks for Jesus.
That's awesome.
Church of Christ at roots is actually never wanted to be a denomination. They just wanted people that were kind of saying, hey, let's put down all our little creeds and little secondary theology and let's get on with mission. And so it suited my style. But yeah, I'm not exclusively Church of Christ, but it has happened that way. And so, somehow we got called into a replant situation about 9 years ago. And God has humbled me and taught me a ton of things through that as well. So, yeah.
It's on the thick of things that you learn, eh?
Oh, it's through mistakes.
Yeah.
Thousands of them.
Yeah. Wow. I won't even get started on that one, bro, because I'll be fired if I start.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting when you're sharing, and this seems to be a common thread with everyone. The less you, at the start, the less you want it, the more qualified you become. So I don't want to be a pastor. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But then it feels to me that this is the common thread that God works on their hearts. However, as we mature, the more you want it, the more aware you become of the responsibility. So early, I'm seeing this early. The less I wanted, the more qualified I become, because you don't want the pride, the ego, all of that. But then as we grow old, like I'm 42 now, and I'm starting to look back and, you know what, I want this. But then you become more aware of how risky, how weighty, how heavy it is. Do you agree with that? Or like, would you say something like that happened to you? I didn't want it, and then you fell into it. Now you're like, this is really good.
Absolutely. I think I forget. There's a couple of books written about this, and I'm going to quote around 2 stages of life, and I think that's absolutely what you articulate. Is this first stage where you might start a new job and you're the fastest, you're the quickest, the smartest, you're the young guy, you understand all the tech, you're top of your game. But that second stage of life is wisdom, and so you're like, wow, exactly. You're like, that first stage, I'll take on all this responsibility. I'll do this. I could have a crack at it. I may not want it, but I can try this. I don't know. Second stage, you're going, wow, if I say yes to that, that's big. And you had family to that and responsibility. And that's funny enough been my Burleigh journey. So we saw a church at the time that had about 20 people, about to close. But young, naive Steve, about a decade ago, went, are you kidding me? Building in Burleigh Heads on the Gold Coast, some sort of budget.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I could get hats printed, I probably would have said, let's make Burleigh great again. I thought, and we're going to be the
Let's do it, bro. Let's do it.
Coolest church. Probably had a still bit of that rock star wannabe in me that needed to die.
But you need it. You need it for a church in that stage. Okay, let's revive this thing, bro.
But I was smashed with changing things too fast, learning lessons, almost getting sacked. Because it turns out when you're 80, you don't like a 30-year-old at the time coming in changing your church. And so we were smashed. We learned some lessons, lots of times on my knees. And I'd now go, 10 years later, if someone said, hey, we've got this church, would you take it on? I go, I've got to seriously pray about that. And so I wouldn't change a single thing that we learned. But you're right. Yeah, the wisdom says, well, that's actually a bigger responsibility. It's not as, but that's part of life, isn't it?
It feels like, knowledge and savviness, let's say, you know, when you're young, that's quick. Let's do it. Wisdom is slow. And saying no might be the wisest thing you do.
Exactly.
Not now. Okay, let's go slow.
But also without losing, this is the hard bit. Hey, you don't want to lose Jesus says this, like the little children.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose that. That's one thing for me, that the more I deal with people, the more they disappoint. They do incredible things. It's that tension. People, all of us, we're capable of incredible disappointment.
Yeah.
But Jesus also says, you do greater things than I, collectively or individually, like together. So, it's this lesson of I never want to be jaded by my own mistakes or people hurt. I want to have always the potential of God is endless. But at the same time, that savviness, that wisdom to say, hey, maybe this isn't a season. Maybe it is a no. One of the sayings we say, I think I stole it from Bill Hybels, I think, is good versus God. And so I think as you get older, you learn, hey, that might be a good thing.
It's not a
but
God
it's
thing.
not a God thing, which sucks because no one ever says, hey, do you want to go burn down that building or do you want to go pray? Like that's an obvious answer. But it's always normally 2 good things as you get older. It's like good decisions.
We say that with our organization behind ChurchTalks, we say that as church planning is not a good idea. It has to be a God idea.
Yeah, amen.
Because if it's just a good idea, you'll burn out.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you will. It can't be. It has to be in Him. So
now tell us, how long were you there? Because that's the transition. So you're there helping as a youth pastor. When did it happen that you took over the replant, and then there you are, you're the senior pastor, whatever the title is, for that congregation? How long did you stay there in that position?
Yeah, so about 5 years as young adult pastor coordinator. And then I can distinctly remember the night. I was in a night service, mostly my responsibility the night. And I remember looking around. It's a pretty big church I was originally part of. So one of the first churches on the Gold Coast. So it's ranged around 800 to 1,000 people, Southport Church of Christ. And so I was there at a night service at about 2:50 at night. And I was looking it around and I was like, I don't think this, looking at all these amazing leaders and young people and thinking, I love this church, but think we're ready to step out of here. I think in any moment, I knew how easy it was to replace someone. God's got a plan. And so I'm like, if I leave here, there's any number of people here that'll step up.
Come on.
And so that was the real moment. I went and talked to my pastor there, my boss, and some of our denomination says, hey, me and my wife, we're ready. I spoke to my wife, she was keen. And we're like, we're ready to step out and plant or something else. And they said, well, and then that's where the conversation started. Yeah.
Why plant a church?
Why plant a church? I have at the time thought in theory and have now seen in practice church planting, but really, let me go broader than that. Anything missional. So we have terms like missional communities and things like that. And we've done some stuff out of an op shop at our church and things like that. Anytime you step up and so people have to use their gifts, right? You're stretched. And so I think one of the main ways people get stretched is church planting. So give you an example. We took 20 people with us from Southport with permission. They were sent with us. And those people were like, we feel a call to Burleigh, but we're not church leaders. Because they'd sat in a church of 1,000 people. Yeah. They're now, one's on staff with me and she has absolutely revolutionized our op shop and food help and grown it to be its own thing, its own non-for-profit. She was a nurse. She didn't know that. She didn't one of our other mates that came with me, he ended up one of our elders at the church and has helped with church leadership there. And he didn't see himself as that, but he is absolutely smashing that. That's awesome. Others have gone, nearly everyone that came with us, some became worship leaders. So the guy that could suddenly, I play guitar a little bit at home. Well, we're a church plant, mate. We don't have a guitarist. You're our guitarist.
You are the worship leader.
And next minute, he's writing songs and worship leading. And so good. Would that have happened? I'm not knocking big churches at all. I'm saying they have a gift to send. But would that have happened? God has his ways, right? But would that have happened if they hadn't sent a group of people?
I love that you touched on it. And there's always a point in the conversation where we get to this. But one of the goals that I have is let's be real, respectful to everyone, but let's be real. So, I mean, you've been in ministry for a long time and you're very gracious to say, I don't want to knock big churches. None of us do. I'm in a big church and I have my pet peeves. We're planting soon because we want the church to remain small to a degree where everybody knows each other. It's a fantasy because if you do a good job, then it grows and then it ruins it. It's like, I get it. We all get it. But do you think there is a problem with the ratio of people that we send, disciple, and send out to the ministry? Do you think that what do you think is the cause of that gap? Are we poor in our discipleship process, or it's just the nature of ministry? It is slower. The demand of people wanting to know Jesus is slower than the demand that we can raise leaders.
I have lots of thoughts, and some of them could be completely wrong. I'm still figuring it out. But I mentioned just earlier that becoming and participation. So it is my unpacking belief, I'm learning about this, is I think we're not giving Christians enough of a chance to participate. And that's everywhere, including me. The models we've developed. And can I explain? So this analogy may work or may not, but I've been thinking about it lately. So my son, youngest, I've got 2 girls and a little boy. He's just started playing AFL and under 8s. And parents are wild at these games, by the way. And it's amazing how competitive parents get. But he's learning. And he's an 8-year-old boy. He's got energy. He's one time he was kicking the other player. We're like, hey, and now kicking him. We're like, oh, little boys, like, you can't kick each other. Yeah. And I was watching the coach. The coach went up to him, and the coach is actually this Muay Thai trainer. I've met him now, and he's this big guy, and he's talking to my 8-year-old son and this other boy and goes, boys, don't kick each other. And I thought, when did the church, and this is such a broad statement, so if you have a comment section on any of this or people emailing, feel free to email and forward it to me. But
so and everything to Steve, right? We're not dealing with it.
I know this is a broad statement, but when did we start? Imagine if the coach was the one playing the game. When did we become places where the coaches are playing and the players watch? Yeah. And so the churches, somehow, and we're burning pastors out because of this, they're like, do our faith for us. And guess what? If you do it well, we'll reward you. We'll grow. If you perform, I call it dancing, singer, panda, dance for us, panda, and you do it well, guess what? You're rewarded.
Yeah.
People give more, people come more. And again, it's a tension. I'm a church leader, so I'm not knocking church leading.
Yeah.
We've got to get back to that, hey, it's okay to participate. And so come to church, or actually be the church.
Be the church.
So Sunday morning, come and be the church, worship, get filled up, absolutely pray for each other, and then Monday to Saturday, participate. In 2 Peter 1, it says, this is where I get the word, it says, participate with the divine. That's insane.
Yeah.
If that wasn't in the Bible, that would almost be heretical.
Yeah.
That's saying partner with God.
Yeah.
And so if that just meant come Sunday morning and consume, I love Sunday mornings, then participate. And so I would say church planning, part of that, but we've got to see the players play.
Yeah.
And pastors got to come back to the coaching. And yes, church plan. If you read Paul's letters, as you'd know, half of it is, hey, stop kicking each other. Sometimes, and then we've created a culture where you go to someone, hey, stop kicking each other. They go, fine, I'll leave the church and I'll go somewhere else where they won't tell me not to do that.
Or I can't kick each other.
Instead of going, sorry, coach.
Yeah.
Like my son, you're right. I shouldn't kick another player. I've learned. I'm sorry. Let's keep going and let's play the game. And so, yeah.
I think you nailed it. The analogy is great.
Thank
the
you.
coaches are playing.
I'm trying out. That's new material. I haven't preached on that yet. So
you should preach on it. Leadership conference. Let's go. When's the next? Bro, the coaches are playing, and what you said is even scarier. If you do it well, we reward you.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, like that's literally, it's the clown in the circus.
Yes.
You do well, we'll applaud you. We'll pay you big money. We'll pay you the big bucks.
Yeah.
Because the bigger the church gets, the narrower the opportunity for preaching, teaching, discipling gets. And there's a few selected that can do it.
Yes.
Which is odd.
Yeah.
Like the natural logic should be the bigger the church gets, the more preachers we have.
Amen.
But it's not what's happening.
And I think, so can big churches, this is again a broad statement, can big churches impact the kingdom? I believe 100%. As long as you're empowering, and this is hard, the doctors, the teachers, yes, the preachers, the missionaries, as long as they're going, hey, I'm a school teacher, I'm going on mission on Monday. Yeah. And if it's my church, and we haven't nailed this, but I'm being Burleigh Church, I'm being the church Monday morning at my Woolies I work at. That's unfortunately so easy to get in that consumer mindset. I think it's Mike Breen. Mike Breen's a guy in the UK that writes a couple of books on discipleship. And he says, you build a church, you'll get consumers. You build disciples, you'll get producers and a church. Yeah. And so I think I probably messed his quote up, but it's that idea. Yeah. We need to, not come to consume the church. I think that makes sense.
I think I heard him say a while ago. Yeah. Not from the book, but you try to build the church, you never get disciples. You build disciples, you always get a church.
That's a better way to say the quote.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really good.
That's
really
it.
good.
I was like, ooh, that's and so there's nothing wrong with big church, but are they coming to church or are they being the church?
Yeah.
And
someone told me a while ago also an analogy between rhinos and rabbits. Like the rhinos are heavy, they take too long to reproduce, but when they do, it's powerful. But the rabbits, they reproduce quickly, but they're not as powerful as if they're isolated, like small church, big church.
I love that.
We need both. The reality is we need both. So we're not knocking big churches.
Not at all.
But I did say to a guest that we had a while ago, I said to him, you guys who lead big churches, I call them lovingly a big dog. You know, the big dogs in the Gold Coast?
Yeah.
You have a responsibility to lead the way.
Yep.
You can't hide behind the curtains of your own kingdom.
Yep.
You have a responsibility to lead the way and create the platform so that the small dogs can step into it and then we can do unity together.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't do it, this is not comparing. Numbers is the least of the things that we should look at, but numbers are a reality. Yeah. You know, you try to pastor a church with 20 people, you probably won't get paid because there's not enough resources. So it's a reality we got to face. Yeah. And the guys leading small groups of people, small churches, they won't do church unity movements because they ain't got the time. They're bivocational. They're working part time. They spread thin. So they do have a responsibility. The big dogs do have a responsibility to lead the way and open up the platform and see the other people shining.
Absolutely. And look, me on the Gold Coast to celebrate, even just one of his many examples, but there's a guy, Mike Hands, New Life here on the Gold Coast. I think there's something like 25% of the Uniting Church Australia-wide or something ridiculous like that. Big dog. They are just
Big Dog Mike.
Big Dog Mike. Make sure if you quote that to him, it's in context. I admire what they're doing. I admire that how hard that thing would be to steer. 2,000 or something people, but they are consistently pushing them out into church plants.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So when it's a church like that trying to do that, you're saying, hey, go play, go participate. And so just to honour them, they're trying. And I know there's a heap in the Gold Coast.
I really want to have a conversation with Mike about church planting. He'll be here in the next season of recording.
Yeah, fantastic.
But I want to see his point of view with church planting. But talking about point of view,
yes.
You're exiting a few of the things that you do. You're doing chaplaincy with Griffith University. You obviously local church, and you're exiting these things to a bigger role.
Yep.
So I want to ask your point of view on church. What's church is being like, and what do you see in terms of what do you want to do in the new role? I know it's new for you and you're still wrestling it out, but what do you want to do in the new role when you step into?
Literally all I've been thinking about this week. I'm going to go work for my denomination. It will be part-time as I exit the church, and so then we'll figure out, God will fill the rest in. But it'll be working a fair few of our churches that need revitalization or need to be planted, or what I call a missional community. What I mean by that is, and this comes to the participation thing, we have an op shop at our church, and by God's grace, we started to ask some questions. How do people get in danger of meeting Jesus in this place? Because we didn't want to preach to them as they walk in. We don't want to put a track in that says, are you going to hell, into their shopping bag?
Yeah.
So we're like, but how do we genuinely, everyone walk in our church building and be in danger of meeting Jesus? Because if they're not,
what do we do?
I don't care about running an op shop. If I want to run a business, that's fine. Go do that. But I'm running a church. And so we haven't nailed it. But we looked at some shout out to we called it EFC, Empowered Faith Communities, at a Crossway Baptist. They have some material. We ran some of that stuff that helped us ask the right questions. And we basically started going, okay, we need to create some vision and mission for our op shop. And even though we have Christians and non-Christians, but stuff like everyone that walks in the door is going to be loved. And some of our volunteers have come and gone, this is too much. I'm not working for a church. And you go, actually, you are. So you can volunteer somewhere else. We love you. But if you come here, even if you don't believe, that's fine. Everyone that needs to walk in the door needs to be honored and loved.
You don't have to believe to belong, but this is what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. Yeah. And like, no harshness in that. This is just what we do. And absolutely by God's grace, majority of our baptisms lately, and there's been a fair few, and people running through Alpha are from the op shop and food help.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Really?
So we have a group after our Food Help Fridays where about anywhere up to 100 people are getting fed, about 200 meals go out during the week. After Friday, we have what we call a small table, and can be anywhere to 1 to 30 people opening the Bible for the first time, and then a lot of them. The goal hasn't been to come to church. The goal is just to meet Jesus.
Wow.
And a bunch of them got baptized, and so that's a long way to say part of my new role is I'd love to see, is that a movement from God just there, or some of that lessons able to take it to op shops and food helps and men's sheds? Can we take some of that missional mindset? Or, as we've been saying, can part of my ministry in this next season be helping people participate?
Okay.
Yeah, not as an expert, but just permission, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you're allowed to do this. You're allowed to start a podcast. Yeah. You're allowed to, I was talking to you guys earlier before we record, I met a young lady in the Uniting Church that starts an online community, and she has about 500 people signing in, playing games.
Gaming.
At some point, someone, and talking theology and gaming apparently. Yeah. And I got another guy in Brisbane called Theo Gaming, and I think he plays Minecraft, and he's got a movement.
So this is a warning for the people out there who are like, yeah, these new technologies and all that. Because there are some people
Yep.
who reject completely the idea of
Absolutely.
technology.
Yep.
Bro, these people are making more disciples than we'll ever
Yep,
make.
yep.
And they are playing video games.
Absolutely. Hey, look, Rome was an evil empire, but if it wasn't for its roads
Yeah.
and it wasn't for Constantine getting converted, that exploded Christianity.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying technology is all good,
Yeah.
but it's just a tool.
Well,
And so
isn't that the case? Like we have to learn as Christians, we have to learn to redeem whatever's in front of us. Like
yes,
some
yes,
things
amen.
are not redeemable. Like
Yes.
you will never be able to have Christian porn. That doesn't exist.
no,
right?
no.
But there's technology, there's TV. Man, we can put messages on TV. We can
Yeah.
think differently. Video games, all of that stuff.
Yes.
We're just talking about the other things that people have created, apps. The Bible AI, the guy with the little sign thing that you said you met.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
I think I
What's his
can't think
name?
his name.
Leo is
Leo,
his
but it's
name.
Bible.ai, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
So all of that, like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is, man, the U version. I was talking
Yeah.
to Dave. Dave's supposed to be here soon. Like that thing has reached nearly what 2 billion downloads or $1 billion? Like whatever billion number is, like it's a billion, bro. That's a lot of numbers. A lot of
Absolutely.
people downloading it. It's all technology.
Yeah.
All technology.
I love that redeemable. We Christ is powerful enough to redeem these things,
Yeah.
and that gets me excited. It's the whole AI thing, right? I'm not an expert in AI. No one is because it's moving so fast.
Yeah.
But if it can be used as a tool, it's just a tool. I mean, don't worship the thing. Don't turn it into a golden calf. But use it, and for His glory. And so,
Now, did you write your sermons with ChatGPT?
So I love tech. So you're talking to a guy. I love it, and so I'm always trying AI stuff, like trying ChatGPT, what it can do, latest versions, always testing things. I love it, but no, I think it works its best as a tool. And so, is it a great commentary? Yeah, you got to check it because it does spill disinformation. Problem with AI, again, talking like I know, like not an expert. Problem with AI is it's a mirror. And so that's not a bad thing, but it's going to carry moments of, if it's mirroring us, we are creating a divine image. So it's going to have moments of goodness, but it's going to carry our brokenness. And so, do you remember, I don't know, do you remember yakbacks?
Yakbacks.
I wanted one so bad when I was a kid.
I have no idea what that is.
Literally, maybe no one listening or watching this is going to get it, but there's these things.
Bro, we're talking technology here.
You used to press a button when I was a kid and you talk into it and then press play and play it back to you, or it'd be a funny voice. Now, it sounds crazy. Kids today won't understand because you can do that on your phone, but that's what I wanted. I wanted a yak back. And on the ad, it go yak back, yak back. AI is one big fancy yak back. It's just spitting us the information back.
Yeah.
So that's phenomenal, but don't worship the thing. And so, yes. So do I use it to write sermons? No, it's not very creative, but I do absolutely commentaries. Hey, do you know this word in Hebrew? It's gold.
It's interesting because people criticize technology. We'll move away from that because this is probably a nerdy conversation. I also love technology.
Sorry, I can nerd out for days on
But
that.
I've got a library down there, and I've got a collection of sermon notes, sermon outlines.
Yep.
Like 4 thick books, like this thick sermon outlines. So I was showing one of our Bible school students the other day that back in the days when pastors had to preach 3 or 4 sermons a week, you're a human being. You don't have that much creativity. At some point, you dry out. Yes, there's revelation from the Holy Spirit, all of that. But wait until you've been in it for 5 to 10 years, you'll dry out. So these guys would have, Spurgeon notes and Calvin notes and all of that, and they had outlines. So every now and again, eventually, they would open up their book, and you know what, tonight I'm preaching this. And they just follow the outline.
Yeah.
They got so good at just like, they skim through the page and they read it, and they just, as if the message was theirs. And whether people agree or not, that's an artificial intelligence of old times. Because it's right there in front of you. You can just read it. So anyway, we went nerd on this.
My only comment again, we are going nerdy, but to just, my biggest concern is inspiration's the Holy Spirit. And it could be such a counter artificial Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So I think the concern is when we get on our knees to pray and go, hey, God, what do you want to speak to us this week? And there's nothing wrong with being inspired and listening to other sermons. I've been inspired by Tim Keller, the Bible Project, Tim Mackey, they inspired me.
Great guy.
We could forever list the inspiration. But if I approach a sermon and the first thing for me to do is go to AI instead of going, God, do you have something for me this week? Then we have a problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
If AI fills the void where prayer
Yeah.
and Bible reading for us.
It's the source, right?
Yeah.
What's the main source?
Exactly. But then on top of that, like if you, I don't know, again, we're going nerdy, but if you actually chat GPT a word, this is one of my favorite things. Hey, I'm preaching on this week. Where else in the Bible is that concept?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Because
That is not evil.
people
That's
see
fantastic.
preachers saying, this word shows up 397 times in the Bible. They think they read it. Like, of course not, bro. They just found it
Back
out.
in the day, you go to a commentary or Googling.
Yeah.
I
And
can't
no
believe
one's
back-
double checking it. No one's double checking it. Right?
That's the danger is we got to double check. Anyway, that's probably too nerdy, but I'm more than happy to chat with anyone that's ever
I
wants to talk
used to do it in my sermons a while ago. I don't do it anymore. But I used to do it a while ago. I was like, that 37% of people do this, and people are like, wow. It's like, you know how I know that? I made that up.
I love it.
Because preachers lie, bro, all the time. But I mean, lightly, So, interesting thing. But let's move on. I would love to ask you, Church of Christ. It's a beautiful name.
Yep.
We probably won't have time to tell the whole history of Church of Christ. But when people come into your church or your churches, now that you're going to be responsible for interacting with a few churches.
Yep.
When people walk in there, what's the expectation at the door when I come in? I'm young, I'm new, I've never been to church. What should I expect? What's the pathway I'm going to follow? When do I graduate, if that's the word? What do I consume first? Am I going to be directed to a small group? Or tell us about the Church of Christ.
Yeah. So Church of Christ is a denomination be pretty broad, which is both a good thing and sometimes a dangerous thing. They're pretty loose on giving anyone a go. It was a big lay preacher movement at the start. That's great if they capture creative leaders. That's bad if you get wacky leaders because everyone gets a chance. So you could differ. I'm saying that anywhere you can go in Queensland, you could differ. Some of it's coming together a bit more. But for Burleigh, what you'd experience if you came to Burleigh Heads Church of Christ is we'd hope, and this is one of the things that is from the Church of Christ history, is it's simply Jesus. And so we want to not get in the way of him. So there's nothing wrong with appropriate ritual. There's nothing wrong with tradition's a better word probably. That's beautiful. If it works, it works. There's nothing wrong with service structure, any of that. But that should all be able to go if it gets in the way of Jesus. And so we would hope that you would encounter something about Jesus in our service. Structure-wise, it'd be, your classic 3 or 4 songs. Communion, Church of Christ, a lot of Church of Christ have communion every week. Okay. And so, again, the original vision behind that was let's get straight to Jesus. Yeah. And so communion and then a sermon. We're big on the formation, the becoming. And so I'd hope you get into we call it small tables. And I hope you get into one of those. And then on the 3rd Sunday of the month at our church, we actually gather around small tables in the church. So I'm a big fan of letting people wrestle.
So you have small groups outside of Sunday, but then one Sunday you run as a format in a small group. Yeah,
I torture my church for some of them. Literally, some of them are like, I can't believe you just won't give us the service. Okay. And they love, we're apart now. It's been so long, we joke about it. So some of them I'll say, see you Sunday. They're like, no, you won't. Small table Sunday. And then some of them, it's their favorite Sunday. Okay. But the call, and this is not to every church, just my call was, I got to get people wrestling over scripture. They can hear from me, they can hear from the coach, but at some point they've got to play. Yeah. So they wrestle. It's awkward. People disagree. People have completely different secondary theologies. But guess what? They're unified by Christ. Yeah. And they can, and I think our world, I don't know, this sounds a bit hyped, but it's true. Our world needs to be able to have, social media needs to learn how to disagree. Christians need to learn. We should be the best at it. Yeah. It says in John 15, I think they know him, Jesus, by our love for one another. Yeah. And so we should not be, we can disagree. Yeah. I'm sure you and me, we would have different secondary theologies on things. Who cares? Yeah. Jesus died for both of us and we're both sinners. It's funny you mentioned that because I took on the habit of watching The Chosen with my wife. Yes. As preachers, I don't know if this is the same for you and your wife, but
as preachers, I think sometimes we dive too deep and we think that our lives are the same. And then we're talking theology and all of that, and they just like over there.
Yes.
So we, instead of doing the journey, I said, oh, let's watch The Chosen together, and people can criticize all they want. I couldn't care less.
Yep.
But we're watching, and then we are towards the last season, Last Supper. And then Jesus is right there, that part of John chapter 13, and he's like, the world will know you're my disciples by the way you love one another.
Yeah. Yep.
But the way the scene is displayed, and I kid you not, it's the first time that my wife looked at me and she's like, "Oh, that's what you mean when you say that." Because once I had this idea that I was gonna have a message where I was gonna get the Bible and I was gonna start tearing it apart. Old Testament gone, New Testament gone, all the letters gone, Gospels gone. Stick with John. Chapter 1, gone, 2, 3. And then I would stick with chapter 13, verse 35. The world you know you're my disciples by the way you love one another. That's all you need. Yeah. Because at that moment, on that scene, and I didn't do it. My wife was super wise. She said, don't do it. You're going to get in trouble. So I've never done it. But when she watched it, and that's the beauty of art. When you create it, you're talking about J.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
What they created in that scene, they brought the moment to life.
Yeah, I love it.
In my wife's eyes. Yeah. So she's watching. She's like, that's what you meant. We've been married for 20 years. That was a powerful moment. And then I turned to her and I said, you know what? When I talk about my friends, that's what I mean by friends. We get in trouble together. We ride together. We die together. We're bad boys for life. Oh, yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and, I love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful that art can do that, you know.
And I love it. And yeah, I love that art it preaches, but it's not definitive. And that's what we need more spaces. It's like, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, it's classic pastor quote, speaking of all percentages, Jesus asked more questions, he gave answers.
Yeah.
And so somewhere along the lines, we forgot that we don't have to answer everything.
Yeah.
I think one of the most powerful things a Christian can say is, I don't know.
Yeah.
But do you want to find out together? Not every question.
That's powerful.
That's dangerous if we do that for every question. Yeah. Like, can I meet Jesus? I don't know.
You'd be out of a job.
Yeah. But yeah. So some art that actually says, I'm a big fan of Chosen, by the way. I know it has its. All I know is I have friends that have started reading the Bible after watching Chosen.
Bro, plenty.
So it's going to say, I'm not just looking for a gig on it.
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of it as well.
You could easily get a gig with it, bro.
So I was at a conference.
I could be a Roman soldier, bold and all that, but you can definitely be one of the disciples.
I was, who is Jesus? He said his name. I can't think.
Jonathan Rumi.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I was at a conference. Actually, we were talking about it earlier. A conference called Renaissance. And someone was sitting, but knows me, but they were sitting like 4 rows behind me. And they could see the back. And my hair was actually longer than it is now. And they went.
They thought you were him.
They're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is. They got Jonathan Rumi. And I turned around, like, that's just Steve Gray. So I haven't deliberately done that. I'm just, I've still got it. I might as well grow it out.
But I'll tell you, enjoy it, bro, because I haven't had it for a long time.
Chosen's great. And I love that. I love that. It raised a question with you and your wife.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And you said that in your church, simply Jesus. Yeah. You don't want people, you actually want to get out of the way.
Yes.
How beautiful of a movement. Like tell us a little bit more about that. Like how do you set a structure in your church for people to come to where your job is to get out of the way?
Multiple ways. I'll give you two tangible examples. So, because it's been a replant, and so we've had to move a lot of tradition out of the way. And one of the lines we've learned to say is, it's not evil. I'll give you an example. When I got there, they would read an Old Testament and a New Testament reading. And so I was
every service, they had to
every
do
service,
it. Okay.
every reading. And so again, it's the Bible, man. It's not evil.
Yeah.
But then I'd listen to the communion or the sermon and go, that has nothing to do with what was just read.
It's disconnected.
Yeah, it wasn't. So it makes sense if they read it and then preached on it, but it had nothing to do with each other. And so I said, why are we doing this? And again, new minister, learning lessons, they took that as, this guy wants us to take the Bible out of the church.
Yeah.
Not what I meant. So eventually working together, I had to go, hey, look, obviously Bible readings are not evil, but if you walk into a church for the first time and you hear the cup has overflown because the lamb has been slain, you go, what on earth is they talking about?
Yeah.
So I said, hey, look, I'm okay with Bible reading, but let's connect it to the message. And it took a while, but let's at least give it a purpose. So I think people get defensive because you think you're attacking often them personally, or you're attacking what they believe. But that's not the case. I love the Bible.
Yeah.
Just in its is an Old Testament passage in Proverbs. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact verse, but ChatGPT it. It says, even a blessing in the morning.
Yeah, an early blessing becomes a curse. Yeah.
That's exactly it. And so, man, you if you yell out to your neighbors, God loves you at 4 a.m, you're not showing them love.
Yeah.
And so Bible readings at the beginning. And so get that out of the way. Let's get to Jesus. And so another way is, I think, and I'm still processing this, where I'm finishing up at the church, and it's not because I feel like I'm in the way of Jesus, but when you're a founding or founding pastor, now heaps of people make this work. This is not everybody's journey, but I'm like, I'm at some point, I become the point person, the medicine man, the answer.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And I appreciate that. And it's lovely. And they show me so much love and respect. But for them to grow, participate, I think I need to get out of the way.
You need to get out of the way. Yeah.
And so, because they're coming to me, what do you think, Steve?
Bro.
I don't know. I'm not Jesus. I'm trying to look like him, but I'm not him.
Yeah. Kudos to you, man.
And so part of that journey has been, whoa, am I getting in the way? And I probably haven't got to a point where it's unhealthy at the church, but I don't want to get to the point where it's like, hey, what does Steve think?
Yeah.
Not who cares, but who cares?
Yeah, I get it.
And so a new leader with Jesus will reflect a different aspect. And so that's what it looks like. Yeah.
And very humble of you to go, we can talk about the things that need to go, the things that we need to get out of the way, but when it becomes the person that we need to get out of the way, and that person is me, and I've started this thing, and I've been here for 10 years, and my family poured into this, that's tough. So yeah, bro, that's awesome. That's beautiful.
I'd like to pretend I'm naturally that humble, but honestly, I think I shared at the start of this, it's been a journey of, you met me 15, 16, 17 years ago. I was preaching the gospel of Steve Gray, and to me, Steve Gray was a pretty awesome gospel to preach.
Yeah.
And I was pretty into myself, and I'd invite you to my show. And nothing about being a band, by the way. It was just it was all consuming. Yeah. Like, come see me perform. I'm awesome. God has, and I thank him so much. Consistently a journey of just humbling me. Didn't get quite swallowed by a whale, but pretty close.
Yeah.
And to the point of, I'm like, I appreciate what God's doing in me. And even now, church I'm sort of glad we've become a church to the sort of poor in the community. I don't know how well I'd handle if we had to become a church to the
rich,
the hipsters and rich of Burleigh. Not that it's wrong. I think I'd struggle. I think I'd start a little bit of rockstar Steve would come and go, I'm pretty awesome.
You'd be amazed, bro. Like,
so God protects me.
I come from a culture where poverty is the normal. Over here, and man, I'm not bashing anyone.
No.
I have learned to love the Gold Coast. But the Gold Coast is a rich city. This is a rich country. Top 1 percentile of the world. And I'm amazed the amount of times that I meet people on the beach, and I'm going out for a run, because for me, I'm rich because I can go out for a run. And these guys are walking into their Porsches and Ferraris and all of that. And I don't know, because I'm different, or I'm loud, or sometimes I'm singing while I'm running, and they're like, what the heck is this guy doing? So they ask me, where you from? And maybe it's the accent. So I talk about Brazil. A conversation starts anyway. And then, bro, it doesn't take me 2 minutes to talk to them about possessions, material things. And I haven't met one person who have said, nah, you're wrong. I disagree. All of the rich guys, they're like, you're right, man. It's a lot. It's stressful, and it brings more negatives than positives, to be honest. And it's a delusion, man. We see the fancy car and the penthouse and all of that. We think it's great. None of us want to be in that position. We think we do. We want the riches, but we don't want the struggle that comes with it. And it's bad. It's bad.
I'll give you one funny story, because if you do shorter versions of this on your social, this might be one helpful, because it literally happened today. So it's ridiculous. You can also get rid of it. It's not appropriate. But this is just a funny example of the way God consistently knocks the Steve out of me.
I love that.
And so I don't say, when you hear the full story, I don't say this. On the way here, I popped into the church this morning, and on the way, I got a call from another church that was offering me a job. They're like, hey, we saw your post. We see you finishing off. What are you doing for the rest of your life? Do you want to come and pastor here? So I was feeling again, oh, yeah, hey, I'm wanted.
Yeah.
I then walk into the church, and this has never happened, but it's pretty funny. Because of the people we reach and how many people we have through the church, a lady, I didn't know who the lady was, she had pooed on the floor. I hear that correctly. Yes, I said she had pooed on the floor of our bathroom.
What the heck?
10 minutes after getting offered a job that I'm not doing because they didn't know I was going on to do some other stuff, I was cleaning with gloves.
Human
poo
excrement. Ugh.
never happens at our church. Not a regular thing. If you're visiting our church, that's not normal. But I have to laugh. So, yeah, half an hour before I was here, I was cleaning poo off the toilet because of the...
And you're going, I should have accepted that job.
But I'm like, God has a really funny way of just reminding me of...
Wow.
And so, yeah, doesn't, again, if you're going, I want to visit that guy's church, you won't find poo on our floor. So that was a specialty for me today. But it's just funny. God has his way of going, you're just a
Knock
dude.
the Steve out of you.
But how cool we get to do, like, I'm just a dude, but how cool that we get to participate with God.
Yeah.
And so I don't.
And like to bring it back to scriptures, I love when Paul tells the Philippians, you have been given the gift to suffer with Christ.
Yes.
That's your gift.
Yep.
It's not your house. It's not your, I mean, this is all cool and well. And look, don't get me wrong. I would love to have a great house. I would love to.
Oh, yeah.
But the gift that you get from God is to suffer with Christ.
Yeah.
Take that home, run with it. You'll be fine.
And he's already given us everything.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. People go, I wish God would give me more. He gave his whole
You
life.
need nothing else.
He gave it all.
Yeah.
You're secure now. Your identity, your soul is well. And so you've got it
Amen.
all. Got it all. Even on the worst days, even cleaning poo off the toilets. God's giving it all. So
It's funny, bro, because when we were in Brazil, I told you outside we did church on a tent for a year.
Yep.
And it's public. And it was in a park where people wouldn't come normally. And I did that. I lost the count of how many times we had to do that. And there was one Sunday where we rocked up, the place was stinking. And we used to rock up like 2.5 hours before because we had to set up, put all the chairs, about 100 chairs out. And then we put in all the chairs. The place is stinking. One of our friends picked it up, and then I brought this bottle of eucalyptus that you put on saunas. But bro, I sprayed that thing like I was casting the demon out of that place, bro.
Yeah, I bet.
Bro, when people came in, they were like, "What the heck is this smell, man?"
I'm sorry to turn your podcast into a conversation a little bit about toilets, but you can cut that bit out. So
Oh no, man, that's good. That's good. We'll keep that. Now, last thing, I made a point of asking everybody this as we close. And bro, you're so easy to talk to. I could be here for hours. We could be talking here for hours. Surely we'll have an opportunity to do this again. I would love to go deeper into things. But there's one question that I want to ask every pastor in the city. Maybe one day when we get to the end of this, or when we get you a bit further down the line, we might be able to say, look, we talked to 100 pastors, and this is the common thread. And I'm making this public from the get-go. I want to get you the powers that be, the mayors, the governors, and say, look, this is the spiritual eyes of your city. You better pay attention.
Sure.
This is what they see that's needed. So from your perspective, if this is going to be a message that you're going to put in the hands of the people who are powerful enough to make the changes, what do you think the city needs?
Good question. I've got a bend of it's probably two things I'd say to that, a more broader thing. But the first thing specific, I've got a bend towards we have a lot of homeless, a lot of the poor, and so lower socio sort of church. We have a couple of vans out the front of a car park, people sleeping there in like different things, and so yeah, definitely. I'd say in two parts. Definitely needs to be more resources and awareness and known. Gold Coast is so glitzy and so artificial sometimes. I love the Gold Coast, but it's so fake sometimes. There's pre-COVID, again, this is part of those stats we quote that we haven't checked, but pre-COVID there's 5,000 or 6,000 homeless on the Gold Coast every night. They sleep on the beaches, they sleep in homes. It can be counting as couch surfing, homeless.
Yeah.
Since COVID, it's got to be doubled. Like, who knows? But they're everywhere. And rental prices going up. We've got to do something, which is the second part. I think the city and those in charge need to recognise they're going, well, how do you fix homelessness? You can't. I think it's even Jesus says we'll always have the poor, but equip the churches too. So just recognize the good that the churches do.
Okay.
I think the city needs to let the churches be their best. Have churches made mistakes? 100%. Has everybody made mistakes? 100%. But if the city could recognize the power, Gold Coast is a city that is starting to wake up to that. But if they can recognize the power of the church, and the food helps that all our churches run collectively, and the people that church people are letting people sleep in their houses at different times. And if they can see that, recognize it, celebrate it, and resource it, they've got a literal, the Salvation Army do, right? They call themselves but it is. They've got themselves an army of people that will volunteer and care for the city and are each week. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, that's been blinded by current affair or project episodes around churches taking money and some of the stuff that some churches have done. But the good outweighs the bad every time. And so what does this city need? Just to recognize the beauty and the power and the undercurrent of the churches.
I remember that during the last hurricane, the churches, specifically your church, hosted a lot of people to sleep on for days and shower. And that's not a normal operation. So I remember you had to cancel one Sunday service.
Yeah.
Because people were sleeping in it. And you don't want to kick people out and say, hey, we're going to have a service, you out, and then you come back. So do you think that the outwork of the government recognizing the church is not only just a word of mouth, but putting money and resources behind 100%. Churches, equipping churches to care for the homeless?
Absolutely. Yeah? Absolutely.
Kind of like a Dream Center LA kind of thing?
Absolutely. And so it's recognizing that. There's a especially around, I hate the term, but boomers, it's funny, boomers and probably my age even, older millennials, there's a real distrust of the church. And those are the voices that are speaking out. And so I saw a post recently about a church talking about saying, and it was good stuff, and under the comment section, the churches already have enough money. They're fine. They're all getting paid this. They're right there.
Most of these people don't know what a budget of a normal church is.
Absolutely. And the narrative and the story needs to change.
Okay.
Because you're right, church pastors are not majority loaded, but more than that, they don't have resources and what they get out of volunteer hours. And so, if you have if the government, the council, whoever it is, recognizes churches that have homeless things, have men's sheds, have run courses for mental health or finance, whatever your bend is, resource that, speak about that, tell that story. So we did do the homeless thing in the storm, and we had people come and say, I didn't know you guys did this. I didn't know you could do this. And we're like, that's the first time you've asked. And God's doing something because I asked. But we'll do this if you ask us. Yeah. And that was cool. That was a moment like, churches aren't just this. They're literally people that care for our city.
Yeah. But it could be much lighter for the church instead of putting a weight on the volunteers' hours and the money that we have to spend. If we had resources, it could be lighter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Loved it.
Empty. It hasn't always been. There's been moments of history where government has recognized church. Yeah. And it has always worked. Yeah.
And that was a tragedy, right? A hurricane. But like you said, there's 5,000 to 6,000 homeless people at least living in the Gold Coast. There is a discussion to be held that I probably don't have authority to speak on. But how do we solve the problem? Is that government housing or is that lowering the prices? Because at least half of the population that are homeless, they sleep in a van because they were forced to make a choice. They couldn't afford rent. But they're not miserable. They're not living below the misery line. They could afford a rent that is $200 cheaper with one income. So that's a conversation to be held in a higher level. It's above my pay grade.
But it's even so you got low affordable housing, and my understanding of some low affordable housing, it can be pretty difficult sometimes. There can be some addiction in there. There can be some stuff going on, all types. Yeah. Not everybody, but all types. Why not ask the church down the road? I know from most churches I know, if a low affordable housing came to them and said, hey, I'm the house manager here. Do you guys want to send someone down to cook a barbie? Because I know you guys are into community. I know you're into unity. I know you're into love.
Yeah.
Would you come and love on these people? Yeah. The church would go, where's the barbie? Or we'll bring ours.
There's a group here in the Gold Coast. Shout out to these guys called Brothers in Christ.
Yes. Yep.
And they've got like 300 people in a WhatsApp group. They're ready to go anywhere.
Absolutely.
maybe not 300 of them, but I can guarantee 50 of them will show up.
Yep.
You know, so it's a beautiful thing.
Recognize that's our strength. Not use us, but recognize and resource. And so, I hope that makes sense. But I think more recognition, not of individuals, of what the Church of the Gold Coast can do, and that we're here to serve it.
Yeah.
I think they'll be surprised.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, as the last thing you're going to say, or the last thing we're going to say, if you had a last message, something that we haven't spoken about that you'd love to say, look, people watching on the other side, this is my message, the message I carry. I'd love for people to think about that, or anything you want to close with.
Yeah, I think it's just a thing I've been stuck on lately. I brought it up a couple of times. It's my thing in this transition period. Go have a go at something. The word participate again, so to bring that up again. Just, I don't know if you're sitting in a church or you've been burnt out by a church or you're keen to go into a church or you're curious. Like the thing the world's been promising for so long, the secular narrative that probably you and me grew up in, it's fallen apart. It hasn't lived up to the dream. The Aussie dream has not been succeeded. So I don't think, Christian or not listening to this right now, you know it's not working. It's not working. So as a Christian, we know Jesus is. He's working.
Come on.
And then as a response to that, have a crack at something. It may not be building the largest church ever, but have a go at something.
Yeah.
Start something at your workplace. Shout your colleague lunch. I don't know.
Yes.
Go love on the homeless shelter down the road. Just once you start participating in that, the promise again is that you're participating with God.
There are plenty of chances.
And build something, create something. Do you know that? Sorry, I'm going to get preachy on you, but the first two, it's funny. We talk about the Holy Spirit. We know our gifting. We do our gift surveys, and that's all well and good. And we know gifts within the church. Do you know the first two movements of the Holy Spirit in the Bible? Number one, creation. The world hovered over the unformed waters and gave it form. So we got the Holy Spirit that wants to give unformed things form. The second one was to tradespeople in Leviticus. He said, we need to build a tabernacle. Yeah. Let's get the artist and tradespeople to build. That means the first two times the Holy Spirit appears in the whole Bible, it's creating and building something.
Building something.
So go do that. Create something. Build something. Artists, go create. Who cares if you fail? You didn't fail because you got to do it with God.
Yeah.
And so, that's my little message at the moment.
You're no better because you have a book. You're better because you wrote a book.
Yeah, that's the journey of creating something. Yeah, I've been fascinated with that. I won't try to go down this tangent, but I've been fascinated with those mud balls they create. I don't know if you've seen them, but there's this process of dirt and dust and mud, and they, over like 6 months, you add a little bit of dirt and you polish it, and they create these balls. We're going to have a go at one day that reflect and are shiny.
Oh, wow.
It's some ancient, I'm going to say Japanese, but I'm going to get that wrong. But it's this like ancient technique of like slowly polishing, and who cares about the mud balls? But I love this process of creating something beautiful.
That's it.
And so that might be a horrible analogy, but either way, you get the point.
That's awesome.
That's create.
Awesome. Go create. Go do something.
Yeah, it's what we do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Steve Gray, a.k.a. Jonathan Rumi, Jesus from the Chosen. It was awesome,
Catch
bro.
me on the next season.
It was awesome, bro. Thanks for being here. I appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Man. That was awesome.
Privilege.
I hope people watch this, get inspired. And if you want to find Steve, Burleigh Head Church of Christ.
Yeah, Burleigh Head Church of Christ. Social media, just come and say hello.
Yeah. Awesome. God bless you guys.